friendly and welcome Mr. Justin Wiese, everybody, right here. Thank you so much. Now, help me clarify here. I have a tendency to sometimes skip over your organization's name. You're a pastor there. Tell me a little bit about the background.
Yeah. The reason I'm invited here is I'm the assistant pastor at St. John's here in town, as well as the campus pastor with Nebraska Lutheran Campus Ministry.
Okay.
We have 11 locations around the state of different colleges, and so I'm happen to be the campus pastor for the Norfolk location.
And the campus pastor, what does this all involve, that particular youth organization? I mean, essentially, what is it?
Yeah, our mission statement, it's part of the Nebraska Synod. We're a serving arm of the Nebraska Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America.
With a special focus on
with our mission statement being inviting people, so whether you're staff or a student in an academic setting, so inviting people in academic settings more deeply into Jesus Christ and the community which bears his name.
Yes.
So they may discover and fulfill their vocation as disciples. Longest mission statement in the world, as I was telling you on the phone. But to take one of those words out, I think fails to make it be what we do.
We want to compromise it at this particular point.
Yeah, because we want people that are in academic settings to be able to think about, how will I serve Christ in the world with my occupation, which should also be your vocation.
Sure. Now, innovation, there are some very interesting innovative angles or dimensions of what you do that I think we've talked before about looking at one business or industry or market sector and seeing what's working over there, and then you kind of examine it and you pull over and you put it in your business, and it may be very effective. So we're talking a little bit about your world and how you're innovating. Why don't you share with us this biblical, this scripture phrase that inspired me, and I think it might be the single most profound concept here at this entire event. Sure.
Yeah. Came to me this morning, as I said, while in the shower. So,
by the way, we're going to talk about that too.
That's right. I was maybe remembering my baptism. I don't know. But the Mark 2, and it's in Luke's and Matthew's gospel as well, but Jesus is being confronted by those who followed John the Baptist or the Pharisees. And how come your disciples don't fast? And Jesus responds from some different things. But then he says, I think it's Mark 2, 21, 22, you don't put new wine into old wineskins, because you'll ruin the old wineskin. It'll burst. You'll lose the new wine, and both will be destroyed. So when Jesus is talking about how he's different than these other people who are fasting, when him and his disciples are eating all the time, it seems like in the Gospels, having a good time. So he's trying to tell them that this is a new thing. This ministry that he's doing is
a new thing.
Jesus, but it's a new
he was innovating, right?
He was being innovative.
He was saying, we're going to throw away the fasting concept, right? And you don't want to put, let's come back to this now. New wine. I think we're talking about new wine here all night long. Aren't we, ladies and gentlemen, huh? What do you think? We're talking about new wine, right? I love this metaphor. It may have been literal then, but it's metaphorical here, right? Sure. And putting it in old wineskins because it's not capable, it doesn't have the capacity or the strength to handle the new wine. Is that right?
Yeah, or like you said, container. Yeah, if we're trying to take new ideas but apply them to old business strategies, it's not. And you're wondering, why is it not working? Well, it's probably because it's not the right container, as you were saying.
Not the right container, yeah.
Or strategy or approach or whatever.
Yeah. I don't want to stop you dead center here, because you've got a lot of cool things to share. But I have to tell you, I've led a few innovation training sessions in my life. And using metaphors, in this case a wineskin, right, holding wine, that's a metaphor that can be, say, it's a container. So you challenge your management team, say, what's the container? I need a metaphor for what we're trying to do here. Somebody says, well, we're trying to pour new wine into old wineskins. Ah, very interesting. What's the container or the wineskin? What's our container? Is it the building here? Is that the container? Is it some mental concept of what the company is, right? And it's limited and weak and not capable of expanding, to hold new thoughts, the new ideas, the new wine, right? Could be, right?
Sure.
Right. A lot of different interesting metaphors with the container piece. So thank you for sharing that. I could go on all day.
Sure.
But I know you're great with outreach. You go out and fundraise, right?
A lot of fundraising.
A lot of fundraising.
Yeah.
Well, I can see you'd be an effective salesperson. Tell us about alliances. I know you have the ability to form partnerships of one sort or another. Tell us a little bit about what you've learned there, because they can open the door to innovation as well.
Yeah, well, with fundraising, the easiest thing to do, I think, in campus ministry is to go and knock on the same door all the time. And so a lot of other campus ministry sites will go and ask the church women to give again, or other people to give again. But having being in between some pastor jobs there for a while, and if you hear me on Saturday mornings on Light Rock 97.5, I'm that voice of that crazy birthday guy. And the whole show. But,
good.
But
I like this.
Having kind of been in there and kind of realizing some of those strategies there, it's like, well, why not ask businesses in town that have money for donations for ministry? And we have opportunities, I think, as we can, doing ministry with college students. We also have college students that can connect with a variety of businesses that are in town. And
yes,
so,
right.
When we have our fall fundraiser, it's called Folks and Forks. We'll hope to see you Sunday, September 21st over at St. John's, 3 o'clock. One of the things we, to do
You're faster than me.
I try.
You are slicker than me.
I think that's why you had me.
You snuck that in.
I did. That's
that was
right.
beautiful.
But we had silent auction items with businesses that I go ask people that I do business with,
Yeah.
and tell them about what I'm doing, and they're like, "Well, that's great. We can do this or this for the silent auction."
What's the single best way to form a joint venture or partnership or promotion? Get people to collaborate with you. Give me one little secret, right? That you pulled together.
Be authentic. Be yourself, and also be in relationship and develop those relationships. You know how many times people tell me no because I've never seen me before?
Yeah.
Happens a lot. If I've seen somebody time and time again, because they see me in their business, they're like, well, yeah, that
It's
sounds
a little
good.
easier, right?
It does make
because they know about you. Of course, being a minister does enhance the credibility a little bit. Right?
Occasionally, you get some power with a collar on.
Well, let's go back to the shower. All right, let's go back to the shower.
Alone or separate?
No.
Okay.
You know, we're talking about people. I talk to people and they go, well, I don't come up with any good ideas. I don't really have any good ideas that I can do for my company. I don't know. I don't know what to do. We just keep on doing what we do. And the fact of the matter is that when you do things like take a shower or take a long drive, it activates a certain part of the brain that then somehow creates new associations, right?
Sure.
This is a gray backdrop, and I was feeling gray, and it was gray outside, so why don't we do this? And it's kind of gray. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Things come together in unusual ways.
Sure, yeah. I think some of the spiritual practices that we talk about with college students really might come across as New Age or from East Asia, like meditative things, but those are part of the Christian tradition that have been around just as long.
Way before.
Yeah, very well way before. But when it gets pushed to the side and you don't think about it, sometimes things that were old are suddenly new again, and they work in ways that allow people to think out. Yeah, you get out of your routine. You have that creativity, listen to the voice of God, listen to ideas that God might be sending your way, and sometimes things just kind of open up, as we were talking about earlier too.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And that's where the wine inspiration about the wines that came from that particular moment. As we wrap up here, a lot of managers visit amongst themselves or with their families. They don't feel like their career is fulfilling enough for them anymore. They really struggle with getting up and doing the same routine, and they don't feel that their boss cares. And they're not doing anything meaningful that has any lasting value. I hear this a lot. I used to hear it a lot amongst people in their 50s and 60s. Now I hear it amongst people in their 20s. Now, if some of those people were sitting in front of you right now, what one piece of advice would you have for them? Can you share anything that comes to mind, other than pray more often and show up at my church service?
That's right. A consumeristic society might lead you to be consumed yourself.
Yes.
And so rather than consuming, Jesus says when you give your life away, that's when you'll find what your life is all about.
Yeah.
And so by perhaps doing things in business that seem out of the box, and man, we're giving away things that we should be charging for, in giving those things away, perhaps you'll find a base that you didn't even know
There you go. Or serving a cause of some sort.
Sure.
Maybe helping Habitat for Humanity on Saturday mornings, or that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah,
that adds some significance.
And also, I would talk about is not adding like faith and your understanding of who you are is not like one component amongst many things, but rather that's your base, and from that base, then you're able to do those different callings in life that we have as in relationships and occupations, vocations, those types of things.
All right, Justin Wiese, thank you so much. You shared a lot in a very short period of time. Every time I take a shower and think of a good idea, I'm going to think about you, Justin Wiese, right here. Take care.
Norfolk, your people made the difference. Norfolk, you said your heart inside. Norfolk, your people made the difference. Norfolk, it's a journey